Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to share something a little more personal, a story about how one Thanksgiving completely changed my life. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Thanksgiving, the holiday with turkey, stuffing, and awkward family conversations. How could that be life-changing? Well, stick with me, because it wasn't the food or the football that made the difference. It was a shift in perspective that started on one particular Thursday in November. Growing up, Thanksgiving was always a big deal in my family. We'd have relatives over, the house would be filled with the smell of roasting turkey and pumpkin pie, and there was always a sense of chaotic, festive energy. But if I'm being honest, as I got older, I started to see it more as an obligation. I was a teenager, then a young adult, and I was more focused on my own life, my friends, my problems. I'd show up, eat the food, make small talk, and then count down the minutes until I could leave. I was physically present, but my mind was a million miles away. I saw gratitude as a chore, something you had to do before you could eat. We'd go around the table and say one thing we were thankful for, and I'd usually mumble something generic like family or health without really feeling it. This pattern continued for years. I was so caught up in the hustle, in what I didn't have, in what I wanted to achieve next. I was constantly comparing myself to others, feeling like I was falling behind. My default setting was dissatisfaction. I believed that happiness was something you chased, a destination you arrived at once you got the right job, the right partner, the right apartment. I was living for the future, completely missing the beauty of the present. And Thanksgiving just felt like a frustrating pause in my relentless pursuit of more. Then came the Thanksgiving that changed everything. I was in my early 20s, going through a particularly rough patch. I'd lost a job I thought I loved, a relationship had just ended, and I felt completely lost. I remember driving to my parents' house that year, feeling a heavy cloud of self-pity hanging over me. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to pretend to be happy and grateful when I felt like my world was falling apart. I just wanted to be alone in my misery. When it came time for the traditional gratitude circle, I was dreading it. My turn came, and I almost said pass. But then, I looked around the table. I really looked. I saw my mom, who had spent days cooking, looking tired but happy to have everyone together. I saw my dad, beaming with pride. I saw my younger cousin, who had just learned to read, excitedly showing off a book. I saw my grandma, her eyes twinkling as she watched all of us. And in that moment, something inside me just broke, but in a good way. It was like a dam of negativity cracking open. Instead of seeing a room full of obligations, I saw a room full of love. I saw people who had been there for me through everything, people who loved me not for my job or my relationship status, but just for being me. When it was my turn to speak, the words just tumbled out. I didn't say something generic. I talked about how grateful I was for my mom's terrible jokes, for my dad's unwavering support even when I made dumb decisions, for my sister stealing my clothes, for the simple comforting fact that I had a home to come to where I was loved unconditionally. I was crying, not tears of sadness, but tears of overwhelming, unexpected gratitude. It was a light bulb moment. I had been so focused on the big, shiny things I thought I needed to be happy that I had completely overlooked the million tiny, wonderful things that were already in my life. I realized gratitude wasn't a chore. It wasn't a once-a-year activity. It was a practice, a muscle. And mine was seriously out of shape. From that day forward, I made a conscious effort to change. I started a gratitude journal. It sounds cliché, I know, but it worked. Every night before bed, I'd write down 3 things I was genuinely thankful for that day. At first, it was hard. Some days, all I could muster was a warm cup of coffee or the sun came out. But slowly, it got easier. I started noticing more and more things to be grateful for. The friendly cashier at the grocery store, a song I love coming on the radio, a text from a friend. This simple practice started to rewire my brain. I began to see the world differently. Instead of focusing on what was wrong, I started to notice what was right. Instead of complaining about traffic, I was grateful for the podcast I was listening to. Instead of being annoyed by a long line, I was thankful for a few moments to just breathe and observe the world around me. This shift didn't magically solve all my problems. I still had to find a new job. I still had to heal from a broken heart. Life was still life, with all its ups and downs. But my approach to it had fundamentally changed. I was no longer a victim of my circumstances. I was an active participant in my own happiness. I found that when you approach life with a foundation of gratitude, you become more resilient. Setbacks don't feel as catastrophic. You have a reservoir of positivity to draw from. Practicing gratitude also made me a better person to be around. When you appreciate the people in your life, you treat them better. I started telling my friends and family how much I appreciated them, not just on holidays, but on random Tuesdays. My relationships deepened. I became more present, a better listener, a more supportive friend. And professionally, it was a game changer. Instead of seeing job hunting as a soul-crushing experience, I saw it as an opportunity. I was grateful for every interview, even the ones that didn't work out, because each one was a learning experience. When I finally did land a new job, I went into it with an attitude of appreciation, eager to learn and contribute, not just to collect a paycheck. That positive energy was infectious and opened up doors I never would have imagined. So, how did Thanksgiving change my life? It taught me that happiness isn't a destination. It's a way of traveling. It's not about getting everything you want. It's about appreciating everything you have. That one moment of clarity around the dinner table set off a chain reaction that transformed my mindset, my relationships, and my entire approach to life. If you're feeling lost or stuck, if you feel like you're constantly chasing something that's just out of reach, I want to encourage you to try it. You don't have to wait for Thanksgiving. Start today. Look around you, right now. What are 3 small things you can be grateful for? Maybe it's the chair you're sitting in, the device you're watching this on, or the fact that you have a few minutes to yourself. Start small, be consistent. Let gratitude become your new default setting. It won't make your problems disappear, but I promise you, it will change the way you face them. It will help you find joy in the ordinary and resilience in the face of adversity. It's the most powerful, life-changing habit I've ever built, and it all started on one very special Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for letting me share this story with you. I hope it resonated in some way. If you have a story about how gratitude has impacted your life, I would absolutely love to read it in the comments below. Let's share some positivity. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.